Welcome to Global Gardens. Global Gardens is a community gardens running under Trinity Projects.
At Global Gardens, we like to run seasonal events to mark the passing of time in the year and create more connection with seasonal growing. We also run longer projects like our Make and Mend project, which last year we grew flax and then processed the flax into spun flax, which now will be woven, as well as the Shiro project, which ran last year, working on interacting with fungi. It's important to us that as many people as possible have access to the gardens. It's a wide range of people who come here. It's local residents, as well as students, as well as toddlers to pensioners. It's people who Cardiff has been their home their whole life, and people who are sanctuary seekers here, as well as people who are just passing through, and that's really important that it can be welcoming to everyone. I think it's a really beautiful space because you get to see the connection between kind of natural biodiversity in the plants and in the people, and how actually they're the same thing and you can't have one without the other. As a maker, I really like exploring that connection even further, which is why I've done things like I've done pieces of art used with slugs and with compost. I've done art with natural dyeing, especially, which I love because it shows you another aspect of the plant that you wouldn't normally see. It shows you like the compounds that these plants are made up of, and it shows you that they might all look green with beautiful bright flowers, but when you dye them you get reds and yellows and lots of browns. It really is an exercise sometimes in appreciating the colour brown. And I love it because of how accessible dyeing can be. It can be a very difficult thing that takes a lot of skill and many years to learn, but it can also be picked up by anyone and they can create something beautiful their very first time at trying it. This was a wonderful research opportunity for me, just writing this grant. This is the first grant I've ever written. I started researching the plants that I wanted to work with, and I found out that lots of them aren't actually native to the UK. They're just ones that are very iconic historically here, things like woad. And then looking more and more at some of the other plants on the site and finding out that many of the ones that kind of get written down as weeds still have these amazing beautiful structures and can give wonderful colours, but are very much disregarded as weeds and stuff. And I'd really like to go through the process of identifying them, finding out what colours they produce, and then really appreciating the beauty of these plants and seeing the benefits that they have to the local biodiversity and how they can be used sustainably in our society to make beautiful things. And I would really like to be able to now share those experiences that I've learnt at university and from the gardens with as many people as possible, which is why I want to run these dyeing workshops over the summer after I graduate, and write them up into a zine so that they can be shared even after the workshops have happened. I envision having a space, maybe I think the orchard would be lovely for it. It's a space that we've put so much work into. It hasn't happened yet, so I can't show you, but in the summer it just flowers right the way across it with wildflowers, and it's such a gorgeous space to be in. It hums with the amount of insects that are here. I would like to take these beautiful dyed fabrics that we're going to make and display them in the space, just to really highlight how beautiful the plants and space we have are. I envision having all of the fabrics strung up and creating kind of a second little sort of forest of colours and textures, and showing how those relate to the plants.